Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to NoDQ video here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel as always. We are now just over a week until WWE Survivor Series weekend in general. We have NXT TakeOver Wargames coming up. But for now, I got your questions, so let's get right down to it. First one today comes from James, and he is a super chat donor, so he gets the first question. If the plan is for Jinder Mahal to win the WWE title in India, why didn't they keep the belt off of him and use these past few months to build him up and make him the win more impactful and credible? Great question, and I'm not really sure I have the answer for you because you would think that WWE would have thought this out better. Last year, when WWE brought back Jinder Mahal, if the plan was to expand into India, why not bring him back and right out of the gate have a plan for him? Have him come in as Jinder Mahal, who is better than he used to be. They make a big deal out of it. He comes in, he starts working his way back towards the top. Well, he was never at the top before, but he works his way towards the top. He continues to build momentum, and then finally he wins the WWE title and is a dominant heel. He's a new and improved Jinder Mahal. My feeling is maybe WWE decided to do this India push out of nowhere after Mahal was already there for several months doing nothing, and then one day Vince or whoever said, hey, we need to expand in India, let's make Jinder Mahal WWE champion. And the problem is Mahal had no credibility. As for what to do with him now, maybe you could build him up again. Maybe you could do a storyline where Mahal has to earn his way back towards the top, and you can have him pick up some wins on his own without the Zayn brothers. Maybe you could salvage it. I don't know. But I do think he is going to win back the title in India if I had to make a prediction at this time. If it was done, the title change that is, if that was done because WWE wanted to do a bigger match for Survivor Series, I think Mahal is going to get it back. But yeah, there's so many things WWE could have done better with Mahal. They could have pushed him stronger earlier. They could have had him win some title defenses more decisively without the Zayn brothers. There's several things WWE could have done that they did not do. Yo Aaron, please answer in video. Have you seen ESPN's 30 for 30 featuring Ric Flair? They did a good job in your opinion. Undertaker broke character. I really enjoyed it. I expected going in that ESPN would do a really solid job with that documentary, and Ric Flair was very open and honest about his career and how he struggled to shut down the Ric Flair character. I thought it was a very fascinating look at a person who had a remarkable career, no doubt, but his personal life certainly wasn't what many would consider to be ideal. It was really interesting. Whether you're a wrestling fan or not, I think Ric Flair has a very interesting story about being a celebrity in general and trying to balance being a celebrity and being a family man. Now, regarding Undertaker, I think it was a really cool gesture for Undertaker to be in the documentary. Some people are wondering, what does this mean? Why did he do this? I think for two reasons. Number one, it's not an official WWE television show. So Undertaker, he's really careful about not breaking character on WWE television, but since this was ESPN, it's a different beast. And the other thing is, I think Undertaker was showing respect to Ric Flair. The fact that Undertaker would break character, which he rarely does, to praise Ric Flair, it just shows a tremendous amount of respect that Undertaker has for Flair. So that's what I think it was all about. And yeah, I highly recommend it to anybody that hasn't seen it yet. This one comes from Josh, and he's got quite a few words here. He's taking full advantage of the 280 character limit. Do you think AJ Styles winning the title is because AJ being on management's good side for all the hard work and double duty he's pulled? Or do you think management is sour on the steroid freak, Jinder Mahal, and finally realized that he's not that good? Or neither? Well, first of all, I think you should be a little bit careful about what you say towards Jinder Mahal. The guy has publicly denied that he has violated WWE's wellness policy, so maybe it's best to not go there with him. Now, regarding why Mahal lost the title, I think it was because WWE decided Brock Lesnar and AJ Styles would be a better match at Survivor Series. Like I said, it's a huge upgrade. It's definitely a match that is going to be more exciting to watch as a fan. And I think Jinder Mahal is still going to be pushed very strongly. And like I said in that earlier question, I still think there's a very likely chance he will regain the title in India and win it back there and go on to WrestleMania. So I don't think WWE is giving up on Mahal just yet. This one comes from Andrew. Should AJ Styles be booked the same way as CM Punk was against Brock Lesnar, or do you think it'll be a 5-minute match? I really hope it's not a 5-minute match. I think this match has the potential to be as good, if not better, than the Brock Lesnar CM Punk match. And that match was awesome. That was one of my favorite SummerSlam matches. Definitely my favorite SummerSlam match of the Staples Center era of SummerSlam. I think if they're given the time, AJ Styles and Brock Lesnar, it has the whole David versus Goliath dynamic to it. I think if they're given a good amount of time and they tell the story well, that can be a match of the year contender and can be one of Brock Lesnar's all-time best matches. So I'm hoping WWE will let these guys have a lengthy match and not make it like Lesnar versus Joe or Lesnar versus Strowman, where just when you're getting into it, it's over. Let these guys go out and have the best match possible. This one comes from Deplorable Hamp. If ratings and attendance go up, would AJ Styles stay champion? I would think WWE would consider keeping him champion longer, but like I said, my gut feeling is Mahal is winning back the title in India, and he will go on to WrestleMania. I don't think the ratings are going to really change that much. It doesn't really matter who the champion is because everybody's pretty much at the same level. People tune in to see the WWE brand. So ultimately, it doesn't really matter if AJ's champion or Mahal's champion or Lesnar's champion. It's basically the brand that people are tuning in to watch. So yeah, if AJ suddenly started moving numbers significantly, then I think they would consider keeping the title on him longer, but they're still trying to expand business in India, and would not surprise me at all to see Mahal get it back in India. Seems to be a good story for WWE to tell, have Jinder Mahal return to his home country and win the title there. Seems to me like something WWE would do, and then have Mahal as the foreigner evil heel champion in the United States to go against the American hero John Cena at WrestleMania, and Cena wins the 17th title. That's what seems to be the most likely scenario. Got this one here from Alexander. Interesting Twitter handle. What are your thoughts on the whole Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn situation? Do you think they're going to be the next set of superstars to walk out on WWE? And Alexander is a first-time asker. I really hope that this is being blown out of proportion. For me, personally, I find it hard to believe that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn would cause trouble to the point of being sent home. Just doesn't sound like something they would do. They seem to have pretty good reputations in the wrestling business, and I don't understand why they would really be unhappy because they have high-profile spots in WWE. Kevin Owens just had the main event at Hell in a Cell. He got to headbutt Vince McMahon. Sami Zayn's getting television time that a few months ago he was struggling to get. So why would these guys be so upset about having to sell moves to the New Day post-match? Just doesn't really make sense to me. So I am skeptical about a lot of what's out there, and I'm wondering what's really going on here. Hopefully it's nothing too significant, and they're back soon, and they're back in the storylines as they should be. Just doesn't make any sense for those guys to have a falling out with WWE at this time. I mean, both of them are at the peaks of their careers. And one could argue in CM Punk's case, you know, it was years of being frustrated. He was the WWE champion, and then he was taking a back seat to The Rock and John Cena and all these other guys. And with CM Punk, you could understand his frustrations, but Owens and Zayn, I really don't get it. I really don't see it unless there's stuff going on that we, the audience, don't really know about behind the scenes. But we'll see what happens, but I'm hoping they'll be back soon and this will all be water under the bridge. This one comes from Stephen Osborne, another first-time asker. Do you think Jason Jordan being put on Team Raw is setting up for him to turn on Kurt Angle and cost him the match and his job? Maybe for not showing him more preferential treatment. I don't think that should be the reason if Jason Jordan does turn heel. I think that if Jordan does turn heel, I think it should be revealed that he was faking the whole thing, that he was pretending to be Kurt Angle's son as a way to get ahead in WWE. I think it's a good idea to try and turn Jason Jordan heel. Now, Big Vito was recently on Pop and doesn't think Jordan has what it takes, but my argument is Rocky Maivia in early 1997. He was this cookie-cutter babyface. Nobody really liked him. They thought he was very green and generic, but a year and a half later, he was The Rock. He was the hottest thing in wrestling, next to Steve Austin, of course. So I think you got to try something with Jason Jordan. He's not working as a babyface. I think the guy has talent. Maybe he is inexperienced, but I think a heel turn could really give him a new shot of life in WWE and could give him new opportunities to succeed. So I think they should do it. I think WWE should have Jordan turn heel. And then if that doesn't work, then maybe you consider sending him back to NXT. But I think you got to try something with him. I think you got to go with it and see what happens. But I don't know. I don't know if WWE is going to do that or not. He might just be in the match to be a fall guy, because in a 5-on-5 elimination match, at the end of the day, one team is going to be completely eliminated. So some people have to take falls and take the pins. So Jason Jordan could be the first guy out on Monday Night Raw. Wouldn't surprise me if that happens. Got this one here from Samish. Hey Aaron, how about whichever brand gets the win at Survivor Series gets the number 30 spot or gets more number of wrestlers for the Royal Rumble match? I like the idea. I definitely like the idea of having the winning team get the number 30 spot at the Royal Rumble. I think that's a nice thing to do to really put something on the line and up the ante and increase the stakes at Survivor Series rather than it just be about bragging rights. There's several things WWE could do, and one of those things is the winning brand gets the number 30 spot at the Royal Rumble. I like it a lot. I think that's a great idea, and maybe there's a few other things like you mentioned. Maybe the winning brand gets 5 extra entries. Maybe they get 20 and the other brand gets 10 or something like that. There are several things WWE could do to make things more exciting and put more on the line at Survivor Series and give it more credibility. I definitely like the idea, and I think WWE should do it, but will they? I have no idea, to be honest with you. This one comes from Jack Horton. Hey Aaron, to keep Asuka undefeated, could you see her being taken out pre-match by Sasha Banks, but with Bayley being framed for it? I don't see any need for that happening because the women are going to want Asuka on their team. They want to win at Survivor Series. So why would Sasha take out her partner, who is a huge asset in the match? Really makes no sense whatsoever in the storyline for anybody to do that. And plus, I think WWE did somewhat of a similar storyline last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, with the women, with Natalya and Nikki Bella. They did some sort of storyline like that. So that would be too much of a copycat, in my opinion. I don't see the need to do that. You could always have Asuka just get DQ'd or counted out or something like that. You know, I think back to when Undertaker first debuted in 1990. He was protected. They just had him get counted out as his way of being eliminated. Same thing could happen with Asuka. She just simply gets counted out. That way she was never pinned or never made to submit, and you don't have to do some really ridiculous storyline that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. This one comes from Rude Ben. Who do you see Drew McIntyre losing the NXT title to, and will we see him in the Royal Rumble match? Well, I definitely don't see him losing to Almas, whatever his name is. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Drew will be the champion for quite some time. I don't think he's going to be in the Royal Rumble. I think that's too soon. I think there are other guys that have been there in NXT that you would call up before Drew McIntyre. Guys like Eric Young. I think it's more likely somebody like Eric Young or somebody from Sanity would be entered into the Royal Rumble. If anybody goes in to the Royal Rumble match from NXT, which that might not happen at all. I think in McIntyre's case, we could see him perhaps after WrestleMania. I think that that would be a pretty good timetable. Maybe he'll lose the title at the Rumble NXT TakeOver event and then lose his rematch at WrestleMania and then debut the night after. I could see that as a more likely possibility. I think him debuting at the Rumble is too soon. This one comes from Kyle Allen. Would you buy an all-female War Games match, four horsewomen versus Natty, Alexa, Mickey, and Paige, or something like that? I like the idea, but I think it's too soon because we have this War Games match coming up next weekend. I think doing this at like WrestleMania, for instance, it would be too close to the one coming up in November. Too short of a gap between War Games matches, but maybe if they do a match at WrestleMania and it goes over really well, you could possibly set up a rematch with the same teams, only in the second match, that is under War Games rules, and that's how you up the ante for the rematch. You do the War Games stipulation. Maybe you could do that at SummerSlam. I think that that would be a pretty solid idea, and you could get two matches out of the horsewomen versus the WWE horsewomen. So there's an idea right there, but I definitely think if you're asking about WrestleMania specifically, I think that's too soon. This one comes from Jeremy James 24. What are your thoughts on Survivor Series 1998? Very entertaining pay-per-view. Wrestling-wise, it wasn't a very good show because you had a lot of matches. I think you had, 13, 14 matches, and most of them were like 2 to 3 minutes. They were very short. So if you're looking for a pay-per-view with a lot of quality wrestling, Survivor Series 1998 is not your pay-per-view. But if you're looking for a pay-per-view that is very entertaining and is very storyline driven, then that is a must-watch pay-per-view because you had Shane McMahon turning heel against Steve Austin, screwing Austin. It's the 1-year anniversary of the Montreal Screwjob. Austin gets screwed by Shane, and then in the main event, you have The Rock also turning heel, and then you have the whole formation of the corporation, the ultimate screw job on Steve Austin. Great storyline, and The Rock becoming the corporate champion. The whole thing was extremely well done and very entertaining to watch. So yeah, I definitely was a fan of that pay-per-view for the entertainment value that it had. That'll wrap it up for this edition of NoDQ Video. Thanks as always for watching. Check out the other videos like I mentioned earlier. We just did a pop video with Big Vito, former WWE, WCW, ECW, TNA superstar, and he was very opinionated. He had a lot to say about the current happenings in WWE, so check that out. Check out NoDQ.com, of course, for the very latest regarding NXT TakeOver Survivor Series. Stay tuned. We got NXT predictions coming up, Survivor Series predictions coming up, more NoDQ Live, and thank you guys for checking out the NoDQ Live videos this week. Thank you to everyone that left the super chat donations, and we'll see if that keeps going. NoDQ Live this week, very busy week, a lot going on, and then after Survivor Series, we got the NoDQ year-end awards coming up, so it's going to be several busy weeks here on NoDQ.com. Stay tuned for the very latest, and I will see you guys next time.